Now, to take this further, we are now being joined by political analyst and commentator Dr. Nigel Fletcher, live from London. Dr. Fletcher, good to have you on WION. What was your reaction to Rishi Sunak calling for early elections?
Well, one of great surprise, like most people, I think, in Westminster and around the country. We really weren't expecting this election until the autumn, and even as late as 12 o'clock yesterday, the Prime Minister was still insisting that the election would be in the second half of the year, which technically it will be, but we were expecting it much later. So one of real surprise.
Right, and you see that Rishi Sunak is really banking on its Rwanda policy. How much of that do you think will actually have an edge over the Labour Party?
Well, it was thought that this was going to be a central plank of his election campaign, but in reality, there's not going to be very much for him to be able to point to in the campaign. The flights that were going to be taking off, that he was working so hard to try to get, are not going to happen until later in July. He admitted this morning that that's not going to happen until after the election. So he's left now in a situation where he's promising something that will not have happened by the election, and trying to persuade people to trust him to deliver it. But it makes the timing of it all the more surprising that he won't be able to point to that as an achievement by the time people vote.
Dr. Fletcher, before I let you go, do you think Labour sits at a comfortable position then?
I think there's no other way of looking at it, really. The Labour Party are somewhere around 20 points ahead in the opinion polls. It would take something hugely significant for them to lose that lead in the course of an election campaign. Even in the most dramatic turnarounds in elections, we've only seen a much more modest shift in the polls. I think you'd have to look at these the poll results and say that the Labour Party really is set to win the election, and the only question is by how much they will win it.
Absolutely, that seems to be the question. Dr. Fletcher, thank you so much for speaking with us from London.
Thank you.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.